Hello trappers and welcome to the TMD Listening Podcast with myself, Young Wop, and the man beside me, Little Bin Bags, Hugh Hill. Unfortunately, due to some issues, Little Bin Bags, part of the recording, cut out for about 2 minutes of the video. It's just me. And then it'll cut into where Bin Bags is with me. So today we're going to be ranking the best verses in the Abominable Traphouse, a staple album of 2022. We're going to go from S tier to D tier. We've got all features down here from left to right. We've got J Swizz, Baby Asparagus, Hugo D, Barman, Bin Bags, Lil Fox and Young Mop. And we're going to go through each song, and throughout we're going to put we're going to rank each person and listen to their different verses. We're going to move them according to what we think. So let's start off with the first track, the opening track of the Abominable Traphouse, Penis Mode, featuring Young Mop and Lil Fox. Wow, that's a powerful intro, I must say. In moments like this, you really appreciate the production by Her 19. I mean, there's not a moment where you don't... There's not a moment where you don't know what the song's about. It's just the way that Lil Fox, the energy comes in the first track, it really sets the tone for the rest of the album. It really prepares you for what's to come, and it hypes you up, in many ways. Oh, I mean, connect to my worldwide internet, my network, it's amazing, really. The lyricism is amazing. Now let's go see Young Mop. It is going to explode. That's what happens when you... It's been blown. Beautiful. I am in my... Just a little bit of context here. Hugh, a little bit Bin Bags criticises me for not actually having a spouse and rapping about having a spouse. And here I'm going to say that makes it in a more metaphoric way. Hugh.
The house, I'm my spouse. It's quite true for a lot of people. I'm not saying I think maybe I think more metaphorically for viewers who may be big fans.
It's time we've got to make a judgment about this issue.
But also, I feel like
I'm personally right.
Well, I think it's without a doubt.
I think we can all agree that Lil Fox is a classic.
That verse gets addressed. Maybe he's going to come down a little bit later on.
I think Fox is working on a solid S tier ratio.
I think Mop personally for me is B tier after that. That track is a B tier.
It's a B tier verse from Mop. I think it's got some strong lyricism, but the authenticity isn't there. And everyone agreed is that TMD is about authenticity.
Exactly. Let me just take a photo. This is our ranking for...
ranking. That's for our Instagram audience.
Wow.
Interesting. Now, the track number 2 is another TMD classic named Rolex Store. Let's give them a
That's even got an official video.
And actually, an official video.
So,
featuring...
This is a Lil Bin Bags and Hugo D.
Lil Bin Bags.
Apologies.
Lil Bin Bags. We're about pronunciation in this household.
Wow, that's powerful up there.
You can tell there's a visual. Churches, it's about religion, and the blurring of gender binaries.
That's true.
I did actually buy a girl a pair of sandals to get her toes out.
That can be reminiscent to a lot of TMD fans,
yeah,
I'm sure.
I think a lot of fans can relate to that experience.
Wow.
I just want to say Kendrick has never actually responded to me.
So I think you've won the beef.
I'm just saying, I've been going after Kendrick. He was in the same room as me and he didn't say nothing. So I think he knows.
Look at these two trappers.
Exactly.
Here. Oh, captions as well.
Oh, yeah. I did put America on the map. Nobody knew Americans made hip hop. Now I think we've heard enough of that beautiful verse.
Wow. That's wow. Foreshadowing. That's foreshadowing for 20 years from now.
In the year of our Lord 2022, these lines were released.
Yeah.
20 years from then will be 2042. Whether he holds Clapfest is not in question, as he's clearly stated. And that's what I appreciate, Maxim. I appreciate honesty. I appreciate that we know he will hold Clapfest
in 2042.
Only
once, never again.
That's all I'm saying. In the rolling store, I will pop an ice rink, and that reminds me of Abdullah's uncle, who doesn't have a boat anymore.
Oh my lord!
It's very sad, but I think we can rate this now. I don't know what your thoughts are. I'm personally right. Let's put them back.
So they're back. No, we'll leave them where they are because this is where they're currently ranked.
True.
In later songs, maybe knocked down.
I see the structure of the game. I'm definitely saying bin bags. With no buzz, I think that's an A tier verse.
A tier.
I think there's some quality, but it isn't quite. It's not quite got the authenticity of a Lil Fox performance.
I see that.
I think Hugo is also.
You know what? I think Hugo got some great verses. I don't think that was one of his best.
I think it's a weaker Hugo verse, to be honest. I think it might even be lower than B.
Really?
But I think Clapfest is a conceptual concept.
Come on, let's just put it here for that. I want to hear this entire quickly again. Let's just hear his verse quickly.
Exactly, and I like that generosity. I think that generosity places it solidly in B tier. Now this next song...
Oh, you know what? I actually think you might be listening to my...
I don't think I'm a Ness.
Okay, well...
I think we've got to discuss a serious contender for best song on the album. Long and narrow.
A serious contender for best song on the album.
Definitely a contender. This is featuring Barman, Hugo, and Young Mop.
One Mop.
Shaft of my cup, long and narrow like a hallway. When my foes spot me, they turn the other way.
I can confirm, actually, as one of Evan's former foes, that he didn't. I turned the other way.
He referenced the name of the album. He referenced the name of the album.
See, exactly, because sometimes you might forget. And luckily, our man Hugo is here to clarify. That's kind of it. See, we did have London on the track because Clapham is in London.
That's true. Okay, then I just said I appreciate the way he bounced off of true. That.
I like the collaboration. I feel like this is when TMD was really a unit rather than just being several solo acts, working.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's where we came together. You can see the album cover as well.
It's like a 4-headed monster, well, an 8-headed monster. It's like unity between trappers, and I think that's beautiful.
Of course. I know. I agree.
Can we skip forward a little bit?
Yeah.
See, exactly.
Can it go any higher?
No, I think S is the limit, my friend.
I write middle class bars. I'll cover any cunt that makes my life hard.
See, all I'm saying is I like Barman's use of polyrhythms. I think there's a strong influence from West Africa. I'm hearing in some of his usages. It reminds me.
You can tell he's put a lot of effort into his bars. He's really done his homework.
You can tell a man who writes bars for a living, and Barman is certainly that.
Everybody stops still because they know the only reason I'm there is to kill.
See, now I think.
Now, you've got to consider, this makes reference back to the TMD's first album. And the first song, actually, that I ever featured on it was Paint Thinner.
That's a very good point. And what I like about it is it encourages exploration, Some songs you listen to and you're done. But I listen to Long and Narrow by TMD. And I think I have to find out more about the Paint Thinner and the previous...
And you want to go back and listen to them.
And I think just for encouraging the youth, the young people of today, to listen to more TMD, I think this really is a classic verse from our bop.
Down fairy like gin. So what do you reckon?
I think, right.
Do you reckon it pushes me up or leaves me where I am?
I'm going to be honest, I think that's a strong verse, but I think you stay on the B tier on average, right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think, if anything, Ed drops off slightly on that verse. It's not one of his more creative.
Let's have a little cheeky...
Let's have a gander.
Yeah, it's not. I think Rolling Stone's
feel
better.
Like he's got more powerful verses, to be honest.
I think maybe we went back to maybe to but I think for now, I think the person who really brings Long and Narrow is
it's clearly Evan's song.
Yeah,
it's clearly Evan's domain. You can tell he really experiences the Long and Narrow lifestyle.
Who the hell is that?
I haven't heard of Evan. But yeah, thank you for listening to this beautiful track. Now for I would say a TMD. One of TMD's
Now
most
this
iconic.
is probably the most iconic TMD song, especially this era.
This is a little piece called Clapping Track. This is
I think it's going up already.
Ed. Lamborghini
Of literally everything to me. I like Zucchini.
I really truly believe that this is one of Ed's finest. Then I head on straight to Dover. You know that I love her. I gave her a dove, yeah, but it was the pack. This
How
is.
far up do you reckon it goes?
I reckon this puts it up until at least A.
Yeah.
At least A.
I think on that verse itself is an S.
That verse itself is, I think, one of the strongest in history, but I think
But
we've
because
got
of the other-
we've
we've
got
gotta-
to work in context here. We've got to work in context. Now let's hear this next piece. Oh,
This isn't their proper verse.
but it's an iconic flow, it's introducing. Forget how great it is, man. Forget how great it is. Oh,
Now, this is where J Swizz,
this is one of the
legendary
most
verse by J Swizz.
interesting. Interesting reference to Frank Zappa there.
Wow.
I think J Swizz, to me, I brought this up in philosophy class yesterday. It raises one of the key questions I think Plato asked: what is better, quantity or quality?
It
Because-
does.
I mean, this man, he drops one verse, but it is one of the greatest pieces of music ever made. I mean, Big Fat Glock, it's like a zapper. But I think in his role in the album, he just isn't there enough.
This is all we see from it, other than in the music video for Rolling Stone.
He makes a feature in Rolling Stone, but visuals aren't getting credit in these rankings, I've got to be honest.
true.
I think J Swizz, I mean, beautiful. Never strikes. This is what I think is the decider here, because I was struck here, is it an A tier verse, is it a B tier verse? But he says he never strikes, right?
So-
and I'm a big fan of trade unions, so I'm going to put him in the B tier as a featured artist in this.
Yeah, I know. I'm agree with that. I think he's really, really good.
It's such a powerful verse, but only one verse can't compare to the
True.
consistent rapping of some trappers here. Yeah, I'm trapping in Clapham. Now, he's the S tier already, isn't he?
It's a good verse.
I think we don't even need to play any more of
Come
this
on
for you
now.
to know that is one of the greatest verses in history.
Oh my god.
Songs. Oh, Barman.
Ask anyone, I've never done a thing wrong. The man I stabbed had it coming all along. He was a jack. He had a target on his back. Now, guys, I think you take give Barman credit here. He's got 2 songs in a row with S tier.
I really
verses.
think his verses are just consistently S tier on this album.
I mean, we'll have to wait to hear the other
yeah,
ones,
of course.
but I mean, he's not the first 2 tracks. Track 3 and 4, he blows it out of the park.
It's
really
like an introduction. The first 2, you're thinking, this is good, it needs an extra element. Then Barman comes pouring in liquor in that element, man. It is beautiful. Let's
we've got
keep
2
this
more
now.
people
2
on
more
this.
verses. Interesting interpretation. It comes back. It's originally.
It's good, isn't it?
Now we're talking.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's interesting that he's making both tracks and stacks. I like that it shows that TMD were both a musical enterprise and a business enterprise.
I know, he really explores, the realms of what TMD can offer.
Exactly. I mean, I feel like if anyone really incorporates the duality of TMD, it's got to be
I
Baby Asparagus.
Wholeheartedly agree with you there.
But again, much like, I've got to be honest, much like with our Jimmy Boyne, J-Swizz, we have to ask quantity versus quality.
I think I'm going to put him here, personally.
I think I probably agree. Is it as strong as... I think it is as strong as J-Swizz's. Yeah. And at no point does he refute with trade unionism.
True.
Which I think is a powerful...
not quite as good as, but I think
a
bit behind. I think if there was a midway between B and C,
I put J-Swizz slightly on top, but I still think Baby Asparagus comes through with some very strong wordplay.
Beautiful.
And that is his track.
Exactly. What would you want the most?
It's like a what you see is what you get sort of situation with Baby Asparagus.
Yes.
It's quality.
And let's just hear the last verse by Young Wop.
Exactly.
Go that from the back. I reckon he was,
It's interesting. It's an interesting prospect. See, what's interesting there is the wordplay. I mean...
No, but I think he really brings the hype here. I think,
Exactly. I think there's energy.
I think he really lays down what a clap and trapper is and what their role in society and TMD
previously
is.
I was like, they're clapping trappers clearly, but where are they trapping? Is this an origin situation?
Yeah,
is this a current resident
situation?
But
he really lays out for you,
doesn't he? Really clarifies that he's a clap and trapper and he is trapping in clapper.
And it's quite direct to the song.
Exactly. I think without this song, with verse, the song would be quite direct.
We've got Barman's verse and Baby Asparagus' verse. Even some of Hugo D's verses. It's just great verses, all three of them. Together and separately.
I feel like the Clapham is a more nebulous concept in those verses, where in this one he makes Clapham a true
exactly.
reality.
So I think
we need to hear a little bit more.
I do agree.
I like the sex positive attitude.
That's true.
6 likes. Now, this is interesting. I consider Young Mop one of the great fortune tellers of our generation. As he says clearly here, he is going to beat up a Jack.
Yes.
And many months, many moons later, he would write, "Gonna hit a Jack." Mm. Is this a coincidence? Is he our generation's Nostradamus? I would say yes. Well, I think this verse amplifies him from the B tier to the A tier person.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
I think it's a strong verse. I think it puts him on the same level as some of the other trappers in this situation.
No, I'm in total agreement with you there.
Thank you. I think.
Yeah, Bin Bags. I'm in total agreement with you.
Thank you. I think this next track is Junction Junkies. This is one of the more underrated tracks in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just
interesting start.
Yeah.
See, my issue there is you can't drive in the sky. That's legitimately impossible. Maybe he could mean flying, but I feel it'd be better to clarify.
This is a very different. This song is very different to how we've had in the rest of the album
true,
so far.
That's true. It's more
let's give it a chance.
It's true. I think I was going too early. God, it's quite sad to hear.
Oh, this is a good verse.
This is a quality.
We had like Marge.
Oh, interesting wordplay and references to popular culture.
What's that reference to? The next song on the album.
Interesting.
Really bring all those tracks together.
It's quite cohesive. It reminds me of Sgt. Pepper's by the Beatles. It feels like the album is an artistic statement rather than just a collection.
I say this gives something more. It's got an element that Sgt. Pepper.
I really do agree.
That is missing.
Let's go a bit. Interesting.
I like how descriptive he is of his sexual activities.
Exactly. I mean,
he's not shy away from
I like that it goes into detail because, if he just said "fuck this hoe," I think I'd want to know how.
Yeah, exactly.
In what context?
It's quite common people to say stuff like that, but he's really gone into details.
Exactly, and I think that's
what puts too many details.
That's what puts Hugo above, a lot of the other contenders.
Yeah.
Let's keep listening.
Makes Little Fox verse.
Little Fox. It's not one of. I don't think it's one of Little Fox's strongest.
No, I think it's one of his weakest.
To be honest. Oh, now, even though
what did you just say, Hugh?
the rest of this track, this is the thing. It's you know me.
Yeah,
I'm
I do
persistent,
know you.
and I've been talking about the quantity versus quality. Because in terms of the quality of this track, I think Lil Fox is quite weak.
Yeah.
But in terms of the quality of one singular line,
It does push him up against the best.
I mean it's one of these things.
It's something that's still quoted to this day, you know.
Exactly.
It's become integral part of popular culture.
It asks a lot of good questions because what is it to drill?
Yeah.
And what is it to know? Do we know each other? There's a male loneliness epidemic out there in the world. A lot of
and
people
he's
are
really
talking
delving
about.
into it, Lil Fox, you know.
He's
As if
shown even those he drills, he hardly even knows, and it just shows how loneliness is taken us away in this nice society.
Yeah. So
And I think that's beautiful.
let's just move on to your Mott's birthday, then we can.
I think that's a good idea. Oh wait, I don't remember this. I think I was recorded for this, but I didn't actually release it.
Oh, that's shocking. Oh, sorry, you just missed it there.
See now,
It's a bit oddly cut, this word.
I'm a big Mop fan. Oftentimes people say I'm too much of a Mop fan. People go like, you know, he wasn't even one of the top 5 in TMD, and I go, no.
Who says that?
I just disagree. My mother.
Wow.
She often goes, I was more of a Hugo fan, and I find that quite disrespectful. But on this track, I feel like previously we've been hearing a lot of quite futuristic Mop with a vision.
Yeah, I feel
this track is more of a diff Mop era.
Yeah.
Which I think fits. I think the song in general is one of the weaker, to be honest.
I agree. The Funky Lemonade, I'm just trying to get paid, is good.
I think that's strong.
But
I
do agree.
It's a bit rhyme zone.
Do you think? What did you okay?
What I do with this, I think.
You knock me back down.
I think I would knock Sonny down.
Behind Evan or to B?
Yeah, I think I'd knock him behind Evan. I think
Okay,
I'm knocking
just behind
Evan. I think other than that, the situation remains quite similar in terms of my ranking, to be honest.
Okay.
And I want to keep listening and see this new track.
Let's go to the next one. New Gods. Now this is feeling...
Interesting track.
Featuring
Lil Baby.
Lil Baby and also the Bin Bags and Hugo D.
And Hugo. Now this is actually one of Bin Bags' first tracks for the TMD Massive.
It's actually one of Lil Baby's best known tracks.
It was. It was pretty kind of them to sort of TMD to
let
this little underground fella, you know. Now this is an interesting line because you see, this was the dawn of Bin Bags.
True.
And then it sort of went up a level. So in a way, it's like he predicted his own fate, which I find very interesting.
That's quite.
Now the melodic performance on
It's
this,
good.
lyrically weaker.
However,
The people are still waiting.
it hasn't dropped yet. There have been two mixtapes. But...
Money in the Bags. In fact, on the Money in the Bags mixtape, you can hear an early version of this.
You can actually, yes, yeah. So I think it shows the depth of TMD to have we've really
it was a collective rather than
hashed
just a
out different demos.
Exactly.
And we've really found the best.
I think this was one of the major introductions of the creative process into the TMD.
I'm a really big fan of this verse, I suppose.
I think it's pretty powerful. Let's keep listening.
Oh, did he?
Interesting.
Wow.
See, I love the interplay between two TMD, members. Hugo.
Really brings it together. You bring it together, yeah.
Do you think we should add an additional image for Lil Baby? No.
It's
interesting.
Jumps between, yeah, I like that. References.
Interesting reference because it both sounds like nature and Nietzsche, who claimed that God was dead.
Wow.
And I'm saying no, God's back, and it's Lil Bin Bags. I think that was an interesting phrase. I mean, the repetition legitimizes.
You know what? I think this bumps both of you up. I think it's a really well thought out version, Hugo.
I feel Hugo. Honestly for both of them, I feel like there's a promise, but it's not fully. I think they stay consistent. I think this is basically on the A tier.
Let's have a look where they are. Well, yeah, they can't really go any further.
I don't think this is comparing to, say, the best of Barman we've heard so far.
No, and I think Fox even keeps it.
Yeah, exactly. I think maybe the gap between Ed and Mop has become slightly wider.
Yeah.
But I would say, in general, the status remains.
No, I do agree with that. I think it stays as it is.
I personally argue.
Now let's move on to For My Gothams. One of the best songs.
I'm a big fan of this one. I spent quite a long time to find this. I remember writing it. Interesting.
Labyrinth. Squashing alts with my fucking thumb shows, he's really going into exploring the power that TMD have. That
exactly.
It's so
it makes you wonder what his
alts
were if he could smash them with his thumbs.
The ants,
perhaps flies?
Ants, flies.
Or flies is interesting. Maybe couscous. You can squash that with your thumb.
True.
We should ask.
Things to just, we'll send a message. This is Travis Scott was on the. Wow,
that's an interesting reference to Trav.
A good friend, a well-known friend of TMD.
I gotta say, I think the reprint imprint line is one of the greatest rhymes of print and print ever.
Not many would think of rhyming print with reprint, really. I don't think... It's not something I would have thought of, for example.
I truly think this is a strong Hugo verse, personally. I think let's skip forward a little bit and listen. Oh. Interesting melodic usage.
Yeah. Wow. Ooh. But that is a powerful verse.
A powerful start, certainly. I mean, the melodic element. I like the beat cuts out, so the emphasis is placed on the vocals. I mean,
wow. Trying to drown me, surround me. So easy, it flows off the tongue, doesn't it? Easy to listen to.
Exactly. I mean,
wow.
Interesting use of vocal effects. A lot like Astro World.
Really similar, isn't it?
I would say the influence is clear. There's an insecurity to Mop. That a lot of TMD, I think a lot of TMD is built on toxic masculinity.
No, I agree.
And I think Mop, whereas he shows some of his more tender side on these verses, and I think that's quite commendable.
It gives a depth to TMD as well.
I do feel like his flowing is quite repetitive. I feel like it reminds me of some of his stuff on Clap and Trapper.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is one of his weaker verses.
It's a strong track all round, but I don't think Young Mop stands out. To be honest.
No, I agree. I think in this use Bin Bag stands out.
I think Bin Bag's, who is not in this current room. I think that was really the entrance Bin Bags needed.
Yeah, no, I agree. So,
I mean, he's got some strong stuff previous, but
so I think we leave everyone as it is.
I think the argument for Bin Bags being put up to S2 is there. However, it's still questionable, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's an improvement. But is it putting him to S2?
Well, we'll hear what he says on Copper Scran. And then we'll come to this one.
That's a good choice.
He's just there. I think Fox's performances, that being the second best in S tier, really kind of, makes because is he quite on the level of Fox?
I mean, is he Fox? I mean, he was a new member at this point. He hadn't had
true. Although Fox did have his, Fox and Bin Bags. Yeah, exactly.
I think they're more on a level.
Although I think Barman's new in this as well.
True, that's true.
We said that.
I think Barman works very well in when he shows up. He's breathtaking, but he knows when to shut up.
True.
I mean? He doesn't dominate the track list.
No, you're correct there. You're correct there.
The top of Oh, an interesting beat.
Very interesting.
If anything, reminds me of a Long and Narrow.
Yeah, it's quite similar actually in many ways.
Wow, what a beat by Hearn here.
That's an interesting beat.
Amazing.
Mega producer Her 19. I like the low melodic crooning from Ben
Oh,
Weiss.
it's amazing. Fucking hell. He's talking about copping a scrap.
I mean,
TMD meal
Amsterdam.
deal and ham.
Oh, it's just
God.
It's just
You can see he's a visionary of his time.
we got to think about names. I'm talking Picasso. I'm talking Martin Luther King. I'm talking Einstein. I'm talking Hugo.
They're
are
in
all-
the same category.
These are all
They're all-
names.
you can
These
put
are all
them together.
people that, you know, there was society before them. Then there was society after them. And they weren't the same.
No.
I think
no.
Hugo needs to go on that list.
I do think so.
I really feel like it
And
after that verse.
I'm going to go off a bit of a tangent here, but you know why I think I kind of think Young Mop resonates with is Vincent van Gogh. You know,
It's
really
true.
found the torment in his life and turned it into
It's true.
into beauty.
And much like Vincent van Gogh, I feel like Young Mop wasn't always appreciated in his time.
Exactly, but
But now we
now we
and we
look
see
back
that
and we
he
think,
was,
wow.
if anything, one of the geniuses of the group. I think we still need to listen to this.
Sorry, I get it.
Interesting, right?
One of his best verses right now.
This is really, you can tell the hunger.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, interesting. Interesting harmonising.
It's good, nice. Wow.
Oh, drawing a comparison to
Yeah.
Notorious B.I.G. Interesting line as it was released in 2022.
Yeah, quite interesting, isn't it?
Interesting.
You're looking ahead to the future, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it shows that Ben Banks was a futuristic talent. He was on the
Oh,
horizon.
yeah. As he says in New God.
Exactly. Interesting use of vocal effects.
Now, I'm going to do something here. I'm actually going to put Bin Bags up to S tier, personally.
That's a hot take.
Really?
I think
so enough.
I think that's powerful. I think combined with these previous tracks, I think I can see Bin Bags as an S tier pick.
Now, does Hugo...
Does Hugo... This is the question, because I feel like oftentimes Bin Bags and Hugo go hand in hand. And they're both more on the same level than, I say, the true geniuses of TMD, like Lil Fox.
Yeah.
So is it almost unfair to place Bin Bags that far above Hugo when I feel like they really do work together so well?
True.
But I think as we have it now, I can see...
Okay, we'll see where we get to.
We'll see.
And we can readjust after you've heard the full thing, so it'll change once you've heard the full thing, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Let's go to
This is
Welcome to the Trap.
A complete project, actually.
This is a Hugo Mop classic.
Always one of the best combos in the
Of course.
team. I mean, they complement each other so well. It's like a beautiful friendship and almost a relationship in terms of...
Me and Gandhi. He even knows that he can be put in the same bracket as Gandhi and Martin Luther King. He's very open in this track. He lost his wealth to gambling and drugs. You can see, he's opening up to the TMD audiences. You really want to know who he is at his core, you know.
I mean, because I think this combined with Copperscan represents, in many ways, the duality of man. Not Copperscan, for my Gothams.
Welcome to the Trap.
Wait.
This is
No,
Welcome to the Trap.
I know this is Welcome to the Trap.
Apologies.
I'm just saying that his verse on, I believe it was For My Gothams, and this are both almost opposites of the Hugo D
Exactly.
spectrum. And I like that it shows that men have, you know, there's a duality to trappers, you know. People often think all they do is trap, but many live complex lives. And I feel
Like Hugo here, and he's
He
really
does display
delving
it.
into that into this track.
However, I'm not sure I find it as musically invigorating as some of his more
True,
fast-paced
true.
flow. I think we should maybe...
Let's give it another listen.
Interesting.
After hearing the diff, I think this is something that young Mop thrives on more. However, let's see how he gets on. Let's see how he gets on before we jump into any conclusions. Guys.
It's difficult. It's difficult.
We'll die.
I mean, it's true. I mean, even little.
Wow.
I think this is. I'm gonna be honest, right? This might be a hot take,
Go on.
and I've been saying that for the whole day, right? I think many times young Mop outshines Hugo D, and I think this is one of the key times. I think this is honestly nearing peak Mop. Whereas this is actually quite a weak performance, I think, from
Hugo, yeah.
From Hugo, I think, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna take the executive decision here, and I'm gonna make a big change.
Wow.
I mean,
wow, no, that is powerful, isn't it? I mean, after that performance, you can kind of understand it. But I mean,
a lot of people
considering old Hugo, Hugo versus, in the album.
A lot of people are afraid to go there, but I think sometimes it has to be done. I mean, does Hugo reference real issues like cock and bull torture? I don't think so.
No. You know what? I'm going to say something here. I think that really, in the diff, Hugo was a standout. He was the main person. Who, he really led that project on,
Exactly.
And he really, However, here we can see some of the other rappers like Young Mop and have matured, Lil Fox as well, and it really starts to balance out a bit more. And I think this is one of Hugo's weaker performances where Mop, who previously on the diff wasn't quite as powerful, outshines him.
I think in many ways Hugo is allowing his children to almost surpass, not exactly surpass him, but he doesn't view them as competition. It's like he's uplifting a family. That's
exactly.
That's what
I really am
personally. I feel that way.
Okay, let's
see the final track. Let's see how the full. I mean, that confidence on vocals is just beautiful. We told people in school about this.
Can I just say, Hugh? You just said that Hugo does actually reference issues like cock and ball torture. But you just proved you wrong.
Oh, that's true. Sorry, I shouldn't be allowed to speak even. I'm clearly not a true scholar of
I sent this to my teachers. I showed this to teachers. I was like, what's the joke there?
You sent the album. Welcome to the Trap.
The album.
I'm so glad I left it silent. Somebody would have found out about this, and I would have had no way to explain it.
Proud.
Right.
Okay, so we've
let's finish this off with the final track, a classic.
The silliness won't stop.
And it's true that it won't.
Final cake, Harold.
And I think Harold, if anything, deserves his own spot because he's a key member.
True.
Really, an iconic figure.
Additionally, I want a huge Maybach.
So do I.
I did hear Clive Sutton have a huge star.
I also think it's one of the best single covers in the TMD catalog.
No, I agree.
On the 49th floor of the Trap House. I would like you to order into 1947 H. Merlot.
Straight from
Bouncy.
Wow.
I really don't think she intervened.
Out in Buckingham.
Hologram. I mean, right. Look, I've talked a lot of smack about Hugo.
Wow. No.
Is that too far?
That's way too far.
Is that too far?
I think.
Look, sorry.
I think this has to be done.
Right.
Up to you, but I think it has to be done.
My thing right here. I'm sorry. I know we're meant to be doing this.
Can I just say, throughout, with the last track and throughout, he's kind of, he's been shown up by other rappers like Young Mop. However, this one, I think, the last track he's gone, don't forget who I am.
Exactly.
Don't forget who I am.
I mean, it's like, I've let you shine, but I've got to remind you why I am one of the GOATs. The GOAT philosophy.
Exactly.
Let's hear.
Wow. Hold on. Let's reverse here.
Was that a little bit too far forward? Sorry, I was quite bold there. Oh, see, this is...
I'm in a coal mine.
We sent this to people.
Had to seduce.
We thought we could sell people 50 quid merch.
I didn't say that. Right. I have something to say here.
Okay.
And hear me out.
I'm hearing.
Barman is one of the greats.
He's one of the greats.
And he time and time again, he proves us that it's quality over quantity.
Exactly.
But I think here, with the consistency of Lil Fox...
it's a good point.
I think he outshines him, I really think he outshines him.
I think that was a bold take, but in a modern... I think Barman is about the lyricism, we can all agree that lyricism is important. But Lil Fox, I think, represents a young wave. He represents what hip-hop is now, not what hip-hop was in the 90s.
I think,
and
yeah.
We need to... We in the TMD Listening Podcast, we are futurists. And I think we need to value Fox for his efforts.
No, I think
and you know what?
We need to value someone who's consistent throughout the album.
Exactly.
Who's got many verses in every. I don't think there's a single verse in it.
I know this might be a bold take, but I love this song so much that I think Ed Parslow is the third best rapper in TMD.
Wow, above
right? Bin Bags is great. He's a talent. He's if anything, he's a poet. But can we argue? Can we really argue that he has a verse on there that compares to For My Gothams?
I think we've got to consider the fact that we're looking. We always like to think about the TMD as a whole. All of TMD. We're looking at just the stand-up performances on the Abominable Traphouse.
That's true.
And just based on them, I think I have to agree with you. It's an immense beginning to Bin Bags' career. But I think, both Mop and Bin Bags really start to outshine the others in future projects.
I think
and they really show their maturity.
I think here we hear, honestly, and I say this with no word of joke, with no comedy, with no fooling.
Of course.
On this album, we hear the peaks of three rappers. Lil Fox, Barman, and Hugo D. What we do not hear is the musical peaks of Lil Bin Bags.
I think
Maxim.
I think we hear the maturity of young Mop, maturing, finding out who he is.
It's a transitional stage.
It is, and
it's like Rubber Soul for the Beatles. It was their branching into maturity, but they weren't a complete form yet.
And I think with Bin Bags, it's a perfect start, and he starts off stronger than I think any TMD rapper ever has.
Barman was on Men's Hot Nan.
True, you've got to consider that. The ability to scoot to TMD mode.
Extra track.
That was a big time.
Goated Volume 1, and I think to remember Goated Volume 1, we should all remember that the reference, just the tragedy here, as Lil Bin Bags wrote on his famous mixtape.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Rest in peace, Lizzie. Alive for Goated Volume 1, not alive for Goated Volume 2.
Got to consider that, yeah.
And we got to remember that. Queen Elizabeth never got to hear Goated Volume 2, and neither did we.
That is a national tragedy.
That's a tragedy.
I think that deserves it.
I think that's one of the saddest parts about her death.
No, I agree. She also couldn't hear the mixtape.
And that's why. Right. I'm gonna. I think we should say this together.
You know what? I think we're thinking the same thing here.
I think there's a person we're forgetting about in this ranking, and that woman is Queen Elizabeth. And I think we can all agree that Queen Elizabeth is S tier. But I think we can also agree that J Swizz and Baby Asparagus are B tier. B tier rappers.
I think B tier. I think maybe if they had some more time to shine the album. However, there's some good verses that they had their impact.
I really think he's one of the they're both highlights on Trap and Trapper.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In the A tier, we have Young Mop.
Can I just say? I've got something to say here. Make him a bit controversial. I think Bin Bags is one of the amazing debuts to the scene. However, I think in this album.
Are you thinking this is an A tier?
Can I just say I just think we have to not necessarily an A tier. I think it's an A. I think it's an S tier. You're boarding S tier. But listen to me. I think we've got to appreciate 3 performances of
right.
These three peak performances. I think they need to be, celebrated in their own sense, and we can celebrate the triumphs of bin bags in future. That's my personal opinion.
Maxine.
Yes.
Symbolically, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
However, we're not dealing with symbols. We're dealing with bars. And with verses, like For My Gothams, I think it's clear that Lil Bin Bags holds an S-tier position on this album. I've got to be honest, I've got to say it. It's a solidly last place. I think the 3 are ahead of him. But I think Bin Bags holds that position, personally. I don't know what you think.
Can I... you know what? I'm going to agree with you.
We're a democracy here.
I'm actually just going to do something really very quickly. I'm going to look up podium.
Oh, beautiful.
Adderall
above, I reckon.
No, it's okay. We can just see it. Oh, same colour is. Hold. Oh, sorry. Apologies.
Of course. I think this was a really necessary move.
I think we can always, and this podium, it shows that these rappers are S tier,
or even greater, perhaps than S tier. And I think,
but we've got to appreciate their performances on this album, really. So I think congratulations to the 3rd best rapper, in our opinion, on the TMD Listening Podcast of the Abominable Traphouse is the amazing Hugo D. The 2nd.
Oh, it's the impenetrable
Barman. And finally, number 1. It is the greatest of all time.
The Fox. Little fucking Fox.
Now, we've got to give our plaudits to these 3 amazing rappers.
Oh, exactly.
I don't want Bin Bags to feel a bit left out.
I think he'd be happy with his position.
I think we all know that he's an S tier.
Exactly.
However, I think we've got to appreciate.
We've got to appreciate real talent while it's there.
Yes, I agree. And when we do future,
we do future
projects, and we'll say, and I think then we can really see Mop and shine. And you know what? It's a shame actually that I don't think we ever see Jay Swizz and Baby Asparagus again.
You never say never.
Never say never.
I think
we don't want to hate us.
I actually have heard a bit of talk about a Jay Swizz Baby Asparagus collab album in the works.
A solo, just them 2, is it?
Right. Thank you very much. It's been a lovely hour. 47 minutes.
Well,
we're going to say goodbye from the TMD podcast.
TMD Listening Podcast. Okay.